Hey my friends, Richard Weberg here, and in today's video, what I want to do is I want you to understand that learning how to get targeted, unlimited website traffic daily, it really comes down to a couple things. And the most important, first off, is one of the biggest things that stop marketers from being, really successful and making those big numbers, 6, 7, 8 figures a year earnings online, is what stops them is their learning or their understanding and their knowledge. See, your earnings online will never outpace your understanding and knowledge. And this is 1,000% true in my own journey of the last 17 years of internet marketing and my son's journey, who is on the screen that you're seeing right now, the picture of him, his own journey of over 12 years of building an income online. You're never going to escape the earnings online will never outpace your understanding and knowledge. And if you truly want to learn how to get targeted, unlimited website traffic daily through both paid means and free means, then you're going to have to increase your understanding and knowledge. And I want to illustrate this, how this goes together, of how your understanding and knowledge will affect your targeted traffic that you're getting, how much of it, from where, and how it affects your income. And I'm going to do that through a story. The story is not going to be very long, but you're seeing another picture on the screen right now of me and my son. For those of you who do not know us, my name is Richard Weberg, and that is my son John Weberg, and we've been marketing as a father and son team now a little over the last 3 years. But between us, we have a combined over 27 plus years of marketing experience. Me, over 17, and my son John, over 12. So I guess actually over 29 years. So with that being said, this was us about 3 years back, a little over 3 years back when we started marketing as a father and son team. But I want to illustrate some of our journey here. So I'm going to go to this next slide here, and on the screen you're seeing a picture of basically an abandoned mall. And that first picture there is showing a storefront where one of my retail stores used to be in our local mall. Now it's an abandoned church in that section of the mall, and most of the mall, which we had a very huge mall where we live, is almost completely all abandoned. And back 17 years ago, when my store went bankrupt because our local economy went in the toilet, our local economy is really dependent upon the mining industry. And when the mining industry goes down, it really hits home in this area bad because it trickles down to everything else. And retail dropped dead in its tracks. And we tried to survive, but it was impossible. And then a company called Kmart, which was big in our area, pulled out of our mall, which was one of the anchor stores. If some of you know how the malls work with bigger anchor stores, and then you got all your other smaller retail stores. Well, my store was over 4,000 square feet, and my rent alone for that store was $4,000 a month just for the rent. Now, after going bankrupt, I literally, like I said, lost everything I owned. The repo man even took my vehicles. And I'm going to go on to the next slide here. It's just going to show some more of the mall and how it's abandoned now. You can see down this hallway, there used to be another big anchor store down at that other end, down on that side. And now here is a picture of my life, how it started in internet marketing. I literally put my family into welfare housing after I went bankrupt. I put my family into actually the basement, these little apartment units for Section 8 housing actually have a basement in some of the family units. And I actually moved my family into the basement of somebody that was living in this Section 8 welfare housing, because in our area, because there was so much widespread poverty at this time, this Section 8 housing area was completely full, and there was no room for me to get in. I had no other option, and I had a friend that was living there that I knew, and I asked if it was possible if we could literally live in the basement. And we did. We actually got caught living in the basement and almost got that person evicted. So I was desperate. And once we put in our application, we got moved to the front of the list, and we finally got, because we came up next soon later, wasn't that much longer, that we got our own apartment, which, if you're looking at this image, was number 512 right here. This was literally the apartment that we got put in. And that's where I got started in internet marketing. I was going back to school and taking some business classes through, I can't remember the name of the agency at the time that was giving free classes to people in our area who had businesses that went bankrupt, to give them more knowledgeable business and stuff like that. So I went through courses. And at the time, I was doing a lot of things, starting to look online at things. That's because the internet was becoming much more widely used and known. And that's where I found my first ad of, hey, do you want to make an extra $3,000 a month from home? And I said yes, because I knew I was going to be doing some online schooling and some schooling through the agency that I was going through. And I was like, maybe I can do this on the side and make some money while I expand my education and look for a job at the same time. So we lived here for approximately another year and a half. And then eventually I got a job. I was working 40 plus hours a week, and I was trying to work online. I hadn't made a penny yet. And my wife at the time was working as well. And then we ended up, this is just another shot of that housing project. And then we ended up moving to this house right here. And you can see this was in, well, this is when I took the picture, actually, in 2012. We actually had lived there for longer than that. And this is after I started remodeling it, because this is about the time I started seeing a lot more success online, and I was already plowing my way up in income. I was still working a full-time job, but you can see by this picture, you know, when I bought this house was very inexpensive. It had a huge yard, but because our area was so depressed and the homes are so old, I bought this home for approximately $59,000. And it was old. It had a stucco all over it. It was a big house, structurally sound, but even the wood on the outside was all rotten. The windows were single pane glass. They'd been in it since like 1917. It had a little dinky one-stall garage over in the corner that you can see in the image. But I already been marketing for a while now. But the thing I want to point out is, the first 2.5 years of doing this internet marketing stuff, and this is why way prior, before buying this house, I literally made no money. I made nothing, and that was because of not having the proper knowledge and understanding. See, when I first started marketing online 17 years ago, there was no YouTube, there was no how-to videos, there was no Facebook, there was no blogs, there was no done-for-you systems, there was no educational courses I could take on marketing online, because it was a fairly new thing, and people there were many people making money doing it. It wasn't the case, but it wasn't like accepted by the masses yet. It wasn't something that everybody's doing at that time, and the knowledge was extremely hard to find. You literally had to go search the internet high and low to find out how to do anything. I only could have dreamed of having it all in one place, and I could have just learned it quickly, because it took me over 2.5 years to understand the right process to making money online, and what I needed to do to get to that point. And that was where the lack of knowledge and understanding failed me in that first 2.5 years, because I didn't have it. And how important it was, because as soon as I started marketing the right way and realized that the products and the opportunities that are out there on the net were secondary to the marketing process and that knowledge and understanding of it, that's when everything changed. And that's when I had a light bulb aha moment. I was like, I finally put together email marketing and started building my list and started figuring all this stuff out. But this picture is just, at this point, we were really rocking in marketing and making money. And this is where we started the process to remodel our home. And we first put a new roof on the top of the old house. And then one of the first programs that I had that I marketed and that I put together after I had success was called Uurate Steps. Now, Uurate Steps we have since taken offline. It had been online for many, many years. I don't remember the exact year. I would have to go look at one of my old site pages that we launched it, but it's been online for years, and we literally built it, me and a partner. At this time, I was not, of course, marketing with my son John. He was way too young. He had just started dabbling with the internet at a very young age. He actually got started marketing at about 10 years old. But this was the first membership site, and we grew it to around a total of 40,000 members. And this is, I used to have 8 pages that I used to have online before that I built out of some rough HTML. Let me tell you, it was rough. I learned how to do it painstakingly over hours and hours and hours and hours of trial and error because I had no course, again, to teach me how. And eventually I moved into the membership site because I was having so much success with my 8 pages. I wanted other people who were struggling to be able to come to one place and learn how to properly market online. So this site was an accumulation of much of my knowledge over the past years, and then a partner of mine as well who was successful at marketing. We formed the site, and it's had several different facelifts over the years, but we have since shut the site down because technology with this site got old and we did not want to keep on updating it. And there were many other systems out there at the time when I finally shut this down. One of them in particular, NowLifeStyle, which we love dearly, and has became one of our main things that we build because it has all the proper marketing tools in it that we use. And in the description of this video, once we get to the end of this and you're done watching, you'll find a couple links in there. One of them is to the educational course that we put together as well. That's going to give you that learning and understanding. And always remember, without that marketing knowledge, you're never going to be successful with anything. I don't care what kind of opportunity you have, what kind of products you have. That's always secondary to learning and mastering the marketing process, because it is the marketing process itself that you will use to sell all your products and services. And see, that's what we taught before in your 8 steps, is we taught people how to properly market, because we did tons of videos, how-to videos on how to teach people and give them that understanding and knowledge of the marketing process. So I'm just going to move on here. This is actually, for many of you who know me and my son's stories, this is actually the first site that my son ever created. It's actually still online, and he created this at around 10, 11 years old. And he actually got subscribers to his list before I did. One day he was sitting next to me, and I was just sitting here, and I looked over and I was like, John, what are you doing over there? Because he used to sit next to me on a laptop all the time while I was working. And he's like, I'm driving traffic. I was like, what do you mean you're driving traffic? Yeah, I've seen how you do it on your computer. And so I built a website and I'm driving traffic to it. And I was like, what? I was like, let me see that website. I hadn't even built a website at this point. And I went and looked, and sure as crap, he had subscribers to his website. And he was, having comments on his website and his blog, all this stuff. And I was like, what? How could he at 10 years old do this? Because the learning and understanding that has always taken place with my son John, and I really want to point this out and keep this in mind when we come to the end, has been he learned stuff extremely fast. See, he in school was a straight A student without even really trying. And so his adaptation to stuff and learning it and comprehending it was extremely fast. He could understand and learn stuff really fast. Where for me, I was older, internet was newer to me, I wasn't born into it, and I had to unlearn things to learn how the marketing process worked online. I couldn't learn at his pace. He still outlearns me in certain aspects just because of how fast he learns, and that's what we've always tried to do, from our whole point in marketing now, before, once we became partners, it's teach other people that process, because it is the heart and soul of our business that we help others succeed and truly give them that knowledge. So everything that we put out is always intended, or what we promote, intended to help people gain that leg up to shortcut the learning curve so that they can make money way faster than we ever did. Now, this is just another shot of a worker in front of my house as I started remodeling my house. Like I said, at this time, I was heavily marketing, doing very well online, and now money was flowing, and I was confident and putting tons of money into my home, changing my lifestyle, because that's what I was doing this internet marketing stuff for, was for my family, to give them a better life and to provide the things in life that we wanted, which was we wanted a much nicer home because this home was so old. So you can see we're putting new windows in, and then I'll move on to the next slide. Here's where we started putting an addition onto the house, and we were just cranking along. And because our knowledge and understanding was expanding as well, we're making more money online. And let's see what's on the next photo here. You can see it from a side view. We built a massive home. This house is well over 3,000 square feet. And at one time it actually was 3 stories, where I cut one of the stories off, and that's just attic space now. But there used to literally be a 3rd story, but it was unnecessary. As at this point my kids are getting older. I believe one of them at this point was already moved out of the house. I have 3 boys. Yeah, one of them was already moved out of the house. And I knew we weren't going to need any much more space than this. But this is just showing you progress, and that, you know, doing this internet marketing stuff truly works. And this is my house today. It's a very beautiful home. My yard is absolutely massive, and the sidewalk you're seeing right here, that is a new 3-stall garage that we built. That was over 30 by 40, over 1,200 square feet for our garage. And that's just the beginning of the slab we've been starting to lay out in front of the garage. But you can see some lights in the background here in this picture. Today, my yard is big enough to put the housing project part of where I lived in the housing project. We could put that in my yard, and then some more of the housing project. That whole area I showed the photos of the housing project where we lived, I could put that whole area in my yard. And I vowed in that first 2.5 years of struggling doing this stuff that I would change my life. Sometimes this internet marketing stuff was extremely stressful. Sometimes I literally wanted to smash my computer into itty bitty pieces. I was that frustrated because I wanted out of poverty. I didn't like debt. I had no money to buy anything. As you've seen, I bought a $59,000 home when I bought this house. I've since even remodeled more of the house. The inside of my house is all tongue and groove, and log siding on the inside. The inside of the house is all hand worked, with all premium upgrades inside. And it has just became a beautiful thing and a beautiful place for me to have time with my family and friends. We have actually hired bands and had them play in our yard, and had, you know, tons and tons of people join us. And that's what kind of person I am. I love people, and I love to hang out with people. And this is just another view of a snapshot of further in front of my property. And here's a snapshot of part of my backyard. You can see we have lights that we hang up, and that's because we've had huge parties back here. And this is an older picture. We have done more to the back of the house and stuff like that. And here was a picture of the first 2 cars that I ever paid for cash. Now, they're not Lamborghini Diablos, but they were paid for with cash. I literally walked into a dealership and bought these Toyota RAV4s and spent like a little over $25,000 on each, and paid cash for these 2 vehicles. So this was incredible. The owner of the dealership actually came out and said, I want to meet the person who came to my dealership, first person ever. And he's had a dealership in this area for many, many years, to come in this dealership and paid cash. He wanted to know what I did for a living. And I kind of told him not much. And I was just joking. I said, I worked online. I've worked online many years, and I work from home. And he thought that was pretty fabulous to be able to do something like that. And again, I bought a new vehicle since this. I bought a $50,000 truck, and I've bought other vehicles. But this just shows where I started and how I grew. and how this stuff can work for you when you put it all together and you gain that knowledge and understanding. This is just a picture of my son when he was only 15. And believe it or not, he's marketing away at this time. He's actually held one job in his life, and that was for 6 months. After he turned 16, he worked at Walmart for 6 months. And the reason he did was to accumulate extra funds to put into his business, because at that time, he launched his own membership site. And this was the original version of it, Marketing Mastery Elite. Now, he has since transformed this site. It does not longer look like this. His site is absolutely incredible and teaches people how to internet market and gives people the understanding and knowledge through his courses that teach people exactly what they need to know how to do to build unlimited targeted website traffic every single day. It gives you the building blocks of creating content, what you should do, how you should do it. It gives you everything you need to be successful selling whatever you choose to sell online. This is me at one of a conference I went to. This is where I met Joel Terrian. Joel Terrian is a dear friend of mine. This was in his house. We came there. I was a VIP because I had accomplished certain goals selling one of his products and services, and that started of our friendship, which has continued. And he is the CEO of NowLifeStyle, which we have been super successful in selling the products and services for NowLifeStyle. So moving on, this is me on that trip eating some juicy lobster and enjoying that, which was heavenly. And a picture of me and my wife when we went to a trip in Mexico. All along here, my success is getting greater and greater, and it's because my knowledge and understanding keeps increasing, and I keep marketing and keep learning. And to this day, I keep learning, because the more I learn and understand, the more money we make. And that will be the same thing for you. And I'm just, like I said, showing you just a brief snapshot into my life through internet marketing and how my life has changed. And this is me again in Mexico, standing behind a bar with some the workers having some fun. And that was an incredible trip. We were there for over a week. And this is us in the Panama Canal. We actually took a trip to the Panama Canal, which was crazy how they built that. We went through a whole tour on how that was built and how the Panama Canal was used and the history of it. And then this is us at another event, me and my wife. This is us on out on Lake Superior catching lake trout, and we were catching salmon and lake trout. This is an amazing trip. We took out to Isle Royale, which we had to go about 50 miles by water on Lake Superior, and we camped out with some friends of ours and just had a really great time and caught some amazing fish. Absolutely loved the trip. This is one of our meals, common when we are traveling to places where we're eating lobster and steak or whatever we want, because we can afford to do those things, and we can afford to do them often because of the lifestyle internet marketing can help you create when you have the proper knowledge and understanding and know the things that you need to do. I always like to say, you can eat shit for 24 months and eat caviar for the rest of your life when you take the time to learn the marketing process and master it. That's not very long to be in the trenches. Nowadays, people can do it much faster because you have the learning and the knowledge, the things at your fingertips through courses and through courses like Johnny has created for people, where it gets to shorten the learning curve. But, it's going to take time to build success online, but you'll be able to do it a hell of a lot faster when you have that education available to you. This is just us at another party. We regularly have parties like this with friends and family, and this is particular friends of ours that we go spend some time with. And I'm just trying to show you that the lifestyle that is there, and this is another picture of my backyard at night. I don't have some of the newer photos. This was us preparing for one of our wedding anniversaries, and that's why I showed the pictures of the lights, because we were putting out the tables and different things and stuff getting ready for that big party. And that's one of the parties where we hired a band, and this is the band here playing at starting to play. And then again, some more snapshots before people were really arriving. This is us in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. This is Johnny. We went on a boat trip in Cabo. And here's some more pictures of us on the pool that just kind of looks like we are way up in the mountains here, and this looks like it's just equal with the ocean. It's called an infinity pool, and the edge really is over a cliff. It's pretty cool if you've ever spent time in one. It was a hell of a good time, and we stayed in a mansion up there for this was a mansion that cost $3,500 a day. We stayed there with a lot of our good friends and other fellow leaders in marketing. And this was just another trip. This is where we went to Atlanta, and then we went on to Texas, New Orleans, some other places. This is Johnny with Joel and Joel's son at the headquarters for NowLifeStyle. They actually have a gym, a private gym for all of their employees. And this is us again on a boat trip with Mike Potvin and Joel Terraum, the CEO of NowLifeStyle. Mike Potvin is one of our really good friends as well. He works with Joel and has for many, many years. We had an absolute great time. And then here's Johnny on another trip with our good friend Celie Clark and Mike Potvin and Joel Terraum hanging out at an expo. I wasn't on that trip. And then here's Johnny highlighting another trip he had before. And these are just pictures of some more trips, and then just kind of to sum up some of his past life there. And that was when we were in Cabo San Lucas here over the ocean. We got some plaque awards for our accomplishments with NowLifeStyle. This is just a picture of Johnny's dog. And here's Johnny swimming in the ocean again. Here's a picture of my family. And then here's me with my grandson. Pictures of my son and his family. And then, of course, me and Johnny and my other two boys, Ricky and Josh. And I show you these last photos that are in here because of family. Family is what's important to me. That was my why. It's always my why. Why I do everything I do is for my family, my wife, my children. And that's what kept me going those first 2.5 years as I was trying to learn how to do this stuff. And there's a picture of me and my wife on a trip to kind of end it, the slideshow. So we've had an incredible life, and if it wasn't for internet marketing, our life would not have been like this. Having to work 40 hours a week at a job every week forever, I would have never been able to do all these things, because internet marketing has set me free, has set my family free, has set Johnny free. And throughout this progress, you can see it's been a progression. It's because we gained more learning and understanding, and that is what took our business and income, our online activities, to whole new levels. And we keep taking it to whole new levels because we keep learning. We keep trying to understand more, because we're not to where we want to be yet. We're never going to be to where we want to be, because the more we keep growing, the more we help other people, the more people we bring along with us by giving them the knowledge and understanding through our courses and through what we do and the products and services we promote. Because there are certain key things in marketing that if you do not learn them and you do not try to get a great understanding of the marketing process, like I said earlier, you can have the best products and services in the world and make zero money, because you won't know how to sell it. If you don't know how to sell it, you're going to struggle, and you're never going to enjoy some of these freedoms that we have had. So underneath this video, I'm going to put some links, like I said, in the description. So click on to get more and more information, depending what kind of device you're on. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a little bell next to this video on YouTube. Ring that little bell. That'll give you a notification anytime I make another video. But you can join us. You can get the learning and understanding and the knowledge firsthand from us through John's course. I'll leave a link to that page, so you can go check that out and get involved, so you can start getting connected with us as well, because it's our goal and our passion to see thousands and thousands of people have massive success through our connection with them, and to take them on this life-changing journey with us. Other than that, my friends, thanks for taking this tour with me. We hope you have a great day, and we will see you on another video.